Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset Episode 45. This podcast is about anything and everything related to Destiny the game. If you enjoy playing Destiny as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we learn about an LFG tool in our companion app, we answer some Dirt Fam emails, and Mr. Woodhouse joins us once again in our main topic. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. This is Arrow Knight, and here with me, Cyborg Sasquatch. How you doing, man?
Hey, how are you?
I am great. I'm great.
It's a wonderful Sunday evening, and we're recording.
Yes.
For all you early. Awesome Guardians. Yep.
Well, a day early from when we used to always record. These days, we seem to do it a little sooner.
A little earlier. Well, guys, let's jump right in to announcements, and we have Cyborg's Geography Lesson of the Week, part of the show where we get to feature a listener from around the world. If you want to be here, tweet or email us. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what's so great about that place, and your favorite class in Destiny, and you too could be featured in Cyborg's Geography Lesson. This week, we have one from our buddy, S. Corio, from Sedalia, Missouri. And he writes via email, "Hello, gentlemen. After I heard the mention of the meetup on the podcast, I thought, and I should maybe submit a geography lesson. I live in Sedalia, Missouri. While albeit a great town to live in, it is a town of missed opportunities. Throughout our history, we have had the chance to become both the capital of Missouri and the home of the University of Missouri. We turned down both for the state fair. I'm not saying the fair is bad, it's actually exceptionally fun, but from the town's perspective was not as lucrative for business or financial growth. An event that is held 10 days in August that brings in a ton of people to this town. Usually we get some big bands that show up for the fair and put on some awesome shows. In the past we've had Shinedown, Leonard Skinner, Florida Georgia Line, and other big name artists, usually country and rock. The town was also the home of Scott Joplin, a famous ragtime musician. Every summer, we have the Scott Joplin Festival, which showcases many local and not-so-local musicians. We have many smaller attractions, including the Dom Art Museum, Bothwell Lodge, and the Katy Depot. Currently, Sedalia is expanding and growing quite quickly. Sedalia is set between Kansas City, Missouri, and Columbia, Missouri, home of Mizzou. It is a pretty quiet town and has that small town feeling, even though it is the home to over 20,000 people. It is a great place to live, and I hope to see some fellow Guardians come through on their Sparrows to check it out. Geography lesson over. I'm also a Warlock main, but I feel like Cyborg and I are in the same boat. Just leveled up a Striker Titan, and it is too fun to shoulder charge fools."
Welcome to the Titan world.
Yes. Welcome, Scorio, as I like to call you. This guy's really funny if you hang out with him.
Yeah, I've played with him a couple times. Scorio, I gotta say, man, we gotta talk. We are very close as far as geography goes. So we could definitely have some lunch sometime.
Yeah. Well, would you like to ask?
Oh, yeah, I see what you did there. See, I was sleeping. I'm sleeping right now, and you gave me the floor, and I totally missed it. So you go ahead, man.
All right, man. How was your reset, Arrow Knight?
My reset, man, fabulous. My reset was great. I would love to just skip right to the trials portion, but I don't want to do that because we got a lot of other things that are in this game. I won't do that. We'll save it for a few bullet points down the way here. But okay. I'll just say no Nightfall. But a lot of Crucible.
You have to run it this week. It's the winner's run.
I know, right?
Nightfall.
I know. I will try to squeeze it in. See, I was lucky enough. The first strike that I jumped into on the playlist was that strike after the April update. So I haven't at least seen it. But I definitely need to. You're right.
You're lucky. I've run many strikes in the playlist and have not gotten this thing to come up.
Really? Still?
Yeah,
Still the Nightfall, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, you ran it then.
I did. I ran it on my Warlocks, and here's your modifiers this week. We've got primary, so many dudes, haha, you're gonna die, and Rainbow Six mode.
Nice.
which is Specialist Fresh Troops, Exposure, and Trickle. So Exposure and Trickle definitely make it a tough one. It's definitely one of those strikes where you need to make sure you get 3 people in there and take your time and be careful, because you're definitely going to have some wipes. I know we had some wipes. But it's fun. It's fun. And, you know, the final portion is not terribly different from what the old version was like, except for, you know, the boss will literally teleport right on top of you if you're not careful. That happened to me. And I'm just standing there and I hear just a whoop, 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 and I was like, and then all of a sudden I'm dead. And he just literally just teleported right on top of me and kicked my ass. So it was pretty crazy.
What's the loot specific? Remind me, the loot specific stuff you can get from the strike now? Is it
the shotgun?
Shotgun.
I got the shotgun.
Nice. Because it's, you have an increased chance, right? With it being the Nightfall, yeah.
Yeah, you do. And I got it the first one I ran. And that shotgun, I like it. I like it a lot.
Terror Bear uses it a bit in PvP even.
I was gonna wonder if it's great for PvP. I haven't used it for PvP yet.
He definitely has used it some. I think it's not bad. It's not bad.
All right. Cool.
But I have that amazing party crasher, so I haven't had to dabble in too many different shotguns.
I know somebody got it with full auto, which I thought would be a great
nice. Yeah.
To have on it. So it's a good shotty. I used it in PoE a little bit.
Did you dabble in any Challenge of Elders this week?
I did some challenge.
Nice.
This week we have Melee is back. We've got Airborne and Chaff. And it's kind of fun because with just Melee before, it could be a little bit frustrating because, you know, you may have to hit somebody like 2 or 3 times to kill them if you didn't do any like pre-firing. Mm-hmm. But with Airborne, if you jump and do the melee, a lot of the enemies you can one-shot with a melee.
Nice.
So it made it a little bit easier. And then I threw on like Angel of Light onto my Sunsinger too, which was great because you could, you know, kind of float in the air and do extra DPS on the boss. So that was helpful too.
I've got to play some more PvE, man. Like we are just straight up, we fit the mold sometimes. If you're the PvE guy, I'm the PvP. Even though you also
all this
dabble.
challenge,
I know,
and you
man.
were so hype about challenge.
I know, man. I was hyped about Prison of Elders. I've mentioned that before, but Trials is just so amazing. But I know, man. I do. I need to make time for it. But now, you know, I played Trials when I wasn't even increasing my light level. You know, so like now I'm actually chasing max level by playing nothing but PvP. So it's even more.
I think that's great though.
Yeah,
I think that's great. But I got a 335 Ghost from one of the challenges this week. So
see, is it just me or is the Ghost is it possibly the hardest thing to finish off with that 335?
I guess I think the only item I'm missing right now is an artifact.
Okay, which you can get that from Court of Oryx.
Get that from Court of Oryx. Yeah. I don't know if you can get it anywhere else. Like I'm not sure if the raid will drop those at 335 or not. Okay. I haven't delved into that too much, but I know that's all I need. So I've got to do some Court of Oryx for the reset. I'm going to try to do.
Yeah, see, I'm wondering how long it's going to take me to get the Ghost. I'm setting at 331 right now. I've played Challenge of Elders twice, as in 2 different weeks to finish out that weekly bounty, and that's it. Everything else has been Trials, and I've hit 331, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean time frame,
it's
really.
Great.
And I'm just wondering. I'm looking at my gear the other day, this weekend, and I'm like, where am I gonna get the Ghost? I've had the Ghost drop 1 time in Trials for me, maybe twice.
Those don't drop as much in Trials.
I know. So I mean,
I've had a series of them, but not as many of those as like, you know, armor pieces or class items. Right.
Yes. I think that might be the final thing that I hunt. But I've hit that point at 331, man, where I'm getting, you know, 334s. I haven't seen a 335 yet, but like my party crasher's at 334 now. So like it's such a great just speed on the light level increases right now.
Yeah. I'll tell you one reason why you need to be running challenge. It's because you want to get what I got this week, which is a Wolf Slayers.
Oh, I saw that tweet.
Is it Wolf Soul Stealer's Claw. I don't even remember what it's called now. They changed it. Counterbalance and Send It.
Oh, man.
So with Send It and Counterbalance, I can kill you from, for instance, on Bannerfall this week, I can kill you from one side of the courtyard all the way across the other side with an auto rifle.
Dang, with an AR.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you even got a response from Bones on that one.
Yeah, I think he was upset. I'm sorry, man. I got really lucky, but I got it from a rank up package, which was pretty cool, and I got it at 334 or something. And I like that gun. I definitely like it.
Yeah, I need to I love PvE, man. I need to just play it during the week and then obviously jump into trials in the weekend. I don't know why I'm not doing
more time in during the week and just play a little challenge, man, just to get a chance at some of those roles. I've gotten in the past week, I finally have gotten one of each of the snipers. So
nice.
I've gotten is it Her Fury?
I believe so.
I've gotten a LDR. I got a what's the other one? Not Shadow of Veils, but the other one that came back.
Just leaving my brain right now, man.
Well, you guys know. Yes. That other one. No, I haven't gotten any with good rolls yet, though. Well, I got one that was great rolls. The Her Fury, I think, has great rolls for PvE. It had like performance bonus and triple tap or something. Like and some other ammo perk, so it'll like never run out of ammo. But it's not great for PvP. I'd like some other rolls for that, but I've gotten some of all of them, so I'm, hoping I can keep grinding and get some better rolls on some of this stuff.
Yeah, I would definitely like to try for a few of those guns you're mentioning.
Yeah.
Need to
so
do
get
that.
In there, man. You're missing opportunities.
Well, we can roll right into what I am doing, and that's trials.
Yes.
Of course. And this weekend, man, a Bannerfall, I don't mind it. It's got so many snipe lanes on the outside. You just gotta, to me, Bannerfall, you have to figure out what you have to do this always, but for some reason with Bannerfall, it just feels like you got to figure out what the opposing team's doing immediately, because if they're rushing center or they're using those snipe lanes, if you don't figure it out quick, you're going to be toast. And those snipe lanes are just horrific. If you go out in that courtyard, there's just so many places you can
There's a lot of places you can get popped. That happened to me a lot.
But, we seem like if it's a rushing team, we kind of, sometimes if we don't want to counter it with another, basically us rushing as well, we'll just, we'll hunker down in that spawn building and just try to get a clean pick off to push on. But, man, this weekend, we played 2.5 passages. I did sneak a little bit of one in earlier this evening on my Warlock. Nice. And if that tells you anything, what that means is we played half a passage on Friday night, and we got a loss, so we started it over. And then the next 2 passages, flawless on my Titan with Terry and Tattoo, and then jumped right to the Hunter. The Titan passage was kind of sweaty. We ended up playing close to the end of the passage. We played some of the guys from Triple Rex Clan. We didn't even realize it until it was over. That was probably a good thing. We won. Paulie was in chat, like, telling us after the fact how many times some of them had been to the lighthouse and this or that. So we were happy with that. But then the next passage, man, we rolled right into another passage. I jumped on my Hunter, and it was like we got to 7 wins, and Tattoo was like, it ticked on the screen, and he's like, we're at 7 wins already? And then the next one and the next one, flawless, straight through. And I gotta say, like, it felt like skill-based matchmaking was off that whole passage. Like, I don't know, maybe we were just in the zone. We didn't feel like any of us were playing, like, crazy on points, but I don't know, it felt like some of the teams we were getting matched up against weren't maybe quite at our level, like happens to us sometimes when we get 5-0'd. But anyways, we were fortunate enough to hit the lighthouse twice. I'm really trying to hit it on my Warlock before reset to try to do the old 3-character thing again. But anyways, we jumped in
twice. I jumped in with Dark Digits and my buddy Gamester. We played 2 or 3 cards. I think 2 cards. We got an early loss on our first one. We just played through to get the bounty, and then we played another one. I think we got to 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there.
Very nice.
Before we caught a loss to end the card. But we had fun, saw a lot of different play styles, some real aggressive play.
Man, people get aggressive on that map.
Yeah, some guys that would hold back and we'd kind of wipe them. So, kind of across the board, just, every game was different. Some were really sweaty and some were, pretty quick. So,
well, see, I
like
feel
you're saying, there's not a lot of skill base going on. I think it's more matching, like they're trying to match the games, how many wins you're on and stuff like that.
That kind of stuff, yeah. It's weird sometimes because I don't want to be 5-0'd, and then I don't want to 5-0 people sometimes, man. Like just because I don't want people to experience that. I mean, I've been there plenty of times, but trials is just that game mode, where you try to be on point and. I don't know. We got lucky this weekend. It was a lot of fun. Bannerfall, not my favorite, but I do enjoy it. I love the layout of that map. It's the same, and wherever you spawn, so it's what you're looking at. It's weird. I still prefer. I don't know if it's Alpha or Bravo, but I still prefer one of the spawns, even though...
No, I do too. I think it's Bravo where you spawn in on, if you're looking at the tree, from the inside heavy, it would be on your left.
See, for me, it's the other side.
Bravo.
I prefer the tree on inside to be on my right.
Okay.
Yeah, which is weird. I don't know. It just must be obviously a mental thing. Like I like to scope out this way on the map versus this way.
Yeah.
That's funny. Good stuff.
But I had fun. I like Bannerfall. I like that map. I think it's probably the best out of the new maps, out of the Taken King era that I love playing on the most on any mode. And it's funny because they kind of explicitly explain that they made Bannerfall for Rift, but it works so well on any game type, I think. Skirmish, sixes, control, whatever. I think it works across the board. I think it's one of the better balanced maps that they have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
So what about our buddy Zur?
Again,
look what he was selling again this week.
I didn't have to get up late that one weekend. You saw me hop on. He had it again.
I was like, oh man, he spent those coins he could have gotten Hawkmoon,
Yep.
But Twilight Garrison for sale, and if you haven't gotten the opportunity to get one, super good advice. Which was before some of the balances a really good machine gun. Now that thing is all over the place. I don't know if you've used it.
I haven't,
but I got a high light level one to drop, and geez, man, you cannot control that gun. It is just all over the place. I don't know what to do with it. Yeah.
I did get an updated one, but I haven't used it. I think it's just sitting in the vault.
Well, when they first released it, it was kind of a secret that it was ridiculously awesome. And then whatever they did with some of the balances, it's not anymore.
Right. Yep.
Even in PvE, I was trying to use it, and I was like, I cannot even hold this thing near the enemy. I can't balance the reticle, so I don't know what to do with it.
Was it that gun that's which one feeds you ammo back?
That's SGA, yeah.
Okay, because didn't people use it on the oracles sometimes?
Yep. Yeah. I used to use it exclusively for Atheon.
Yep.
For when you would get teleported to the past or future, because you could just
way back
blow through all those oracles with SGA. It was great.
I was one of the lucky ones that got the fusion, so I would use that thing, the raid fusion. What was that thing called?
Praetorian Foil.
Yes, Praetorian
I've got
Foil.
one too.
Yes.
The thing is great.
Yep. Love it.
So one thing I was trying to do this week that I have not had any success at, I was looking at the end of last week because I kept getting new shaders, and I keep bringing that up, and I was like, I wonder how many there are that I don't have. So I go to the kiosk and I'm looking through, and I realize most of the shaders I don't have that are really cool are strike-based shaders. Like they drop from strike activities. So I was like, oh man, I need to go farm some more strikes, because I don't get on and just chill in the strike playlist very often. I don't either, man. Yeah. That's not. Some people do that a lot, but I've just never done that. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll spend some time doing that. And I did that for hours this week. I didn't get any shaders. So I'm wondering, I want to put this out to the community, guys, if you have any feedback you can give me on when you may have gotten shaders from strikes, if it was a specific playlist, a specific strike that you just loaded up. Tell me if there's a method for farming these strikes. I would love to know, or if it's just, really low RNG on them, because I've never been in a strike where I or one of my teammates that I can recall have gotten a strike. Now, I've had my teammates tell me, oh yeah, I got this shader from a strike the other night. I don't know how to get them to drop. So let me know.
Yeah, I don't run them much either, man. If I hop on for just a few minutes, I usually just run a quick elimination or something, not the strikes.
I ran a bunch. I had fun. It was fun doing them. Like, it's just not something I usually work in. So
I love the kiosks though, man. Like I've done it a couple times the last couple weeks. I'll just go down there when I have a few minutes and I'll look at all the shaders I have and don't have, and I'll see what my Guardian looks like. And I'm like, ooh, how do I get this one?
I know. I got one of the ones I really wanted this week though, which was Lion Dancer. And, if you put on certain Warlock gear, it looks like straight McDonald's. Like, it is the McDonald's color. So if you look on my Twitter, no. Well, Undercity looks similar too, but Lion Dancer, if you have the certain gear on, is like really McDonald's-y. Okay. And we went into the Hunter
Happy
Lounge.
Meal running around.
Yeah, and I put my Guardian behind the counter and got some of my buddies to line up so it looked like we were working McDonald's. And I took some pictures. I put those on Twitter. I thought it was really funny. But
that is funny, man.
But if you put that shader on like some certain Titan gear, it looks like Iron Man.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Which I think is the new Spectre gear. I think you can.
Yes. Yeah. And then I was swapping out some different Warlock gear last night, like some of the Trials gear and stuff. And that actually looks pretty cool because it gives you mostly red with some gold, and it looked pretty cool. So you just have to wear the right gear, because if you don't, you just look goofy.
Yeah, I always end up on like black and white type shaders with my Titan mark and stuff, and every now and then I'll go down there and I'm like, all right, I just want something crazy. Like I want some orange.
I know, that's what I've been doing lately. Is just I'm just gonna go nuts. Let me just look ridiculous because I'm tired of the drab.
Queen's Web. I think I tweeted you a picture.
I love Queen's Web.
Or text you. Man, it looks so cool. Even with my normal gear with like the Iron Banner helmet, it looks cool with the new Spectre gear. It's cool.
I have that on my Titan right now. Is wearing Queen's Web. It looks great.
Yep. That's what I have right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Anything
else fun go on in your reset that you want to tell us about?
That's about it, man. Just been a PvP week for me.
All right, good. Let's get into some news. We got a couple things.
We do. We got a couple things, couple patches, little hot fixes.
Yeah, tell us about the stuff that went live on Tuesday.
Yeah, we got the melee adjustment went live. Mm-hmm. So, did you notice a difference playing? Or?
I don't see a negative difference.
No, definitely not negative. I mean, I guess it would be hard to notice. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It's something that I kind of was aware of, but at the same time wasn't super aware of it. So I don't know. They were afraid they were going to break something. It sounded like they didn't do that. So any way they can improve the game, that works.
Right.
What else did we get, man?
Well, then the 11th, which was Wednesday, they said they put some more risky adjustments in. I don't know what that means because they weren't specific, but I didn't see any negative change there either.
Yeah, it seems like they're playing it safe.
Yeah, so I guess we just need to keep our eyes peeled. If you see something with melee hit registration that seems off or any kind of crazy effects, let Bungie know. But I don't have any negative feedback at this time. It's hard for me to give positive feedback because you just kind of expect your hits to land.
Yeah,
and it's not like all of a sudden I can perceive the difference.
I don't like to be shotgunned when I'm coming out of my shoulder charge, but he or her probably did shoot me first, so it's okay.
Right. Well, this week at Bungie, first off, on Wednesday they had the Art of Destiny Twitch stream, which I am about 36 minutes into.
Yeah, I still gotta go back and watch it, man.
It's pretty cool so far. You know, I like listening to what these artists do and what role they play, and they're showing off some cool artwork and explaining like what the significance of some of these art pieces are, and you know, the kind of journey that they take when they're working on some of this stuff. So it's pretty cool to check out. I would go, if you have some time, go sit down and listen to it and look at what's going on.
Yeah, I mean it's an hour and a half long almost too.
Yeah, like
they're not
20. Yeah,
they're not skirting around these little events. It's
I liked
nice
it though.
It's
meaty. Yep. You know, I would hate if they just showed up for 30 minutes and were
I agree.
You know, phoned it in, but they actually took some time on this. So I think that's great. Shout out to Joe Meaden this week. Yes. He did host that Twitch stream. I wasn't able to make it, but I'm sure we had some Guardians show up, and I'm hoping Joe will have time to do it again next week. If you want to, go to our Destiny Reset Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Destiny Reset, and we'll hopefully be hosting the next Twitch stream. You can go check it out and chat with some of your other Dirt Fan members.
Yeah, we try to host them when we can. Joe's been great about it. If it's new release content, we really try to make it work. These obviously, I mean, are just as important, but we try to work it into the schedule. So definitely thanks to Joe for fitting that in.
For sure. So after the Art of Destiny and the weekly update, we actually got an update on something we didn't know was coming.
You're right. Which
is a LFG that will function in the Destiny companion apps. Mm-hmm. This is pretty cool. What's cool about it to me is that, from what I understand, you can work this directly in your clan.
Yes, yeah, that's the cool part.
That's pretty cool. So you don't have to just LFG across all of Bungie.net. If you have a clan with a lot of members, you can just do an inter LFG there, which I think could be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's really neat.
But I'm looking at some of the artwork, and another thing I like is the way you can set it up. It'll even show you like, okay, this spot is filled, this spot is filled. So you can say, okay, I'm going to join, and you can see how many people have already gotten in on the activity, which I think is pretty cool. So I like this. I can't wait to see this roll out and give it a shot, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely cool, man. Major surprise. Like, I agree with you. All the different little criteria you can put on your search is very neat. That was one of the questions that got tweeted to us, which is amazing that the community, the Dirt Fam, said it's awesome, but we have the Dirt Fam. But with what you said, yeah, being able to do it inside your clan is really cool.
Yeah. That's great, because it's, you know, trying to use a chat or a post even in your own clan is one thing, but if you can do this in real time in the app, that makes it even easier for you to link up with, you know, people even in your own group of friends, you know.
Yep.
So I think it could be pretty cool. I'm not sure how all the LFG services out there are going to respond, you know, to this, or how they'll fare. I'm not naive in thinking that everybody is all just going to switch to this, but I'm sure it will affect their users. And, you know, all the guys who have done the LFG, Destiny, LFG.com, .net, you've got the 100.io, all these, you know, great Guardians put together these platforms when this didn't exist. And I hope that they still stick around in some regard. And, but on the other hand, this is a great service that Bungie's putting out that is needed. And I hope that this can be somewhat of a preview of what we can maybe do in game one day.
Yeah.
Right?
That'd be nice.
That would be ideal.
Man, I used some of those LFG sites back in the day before the amazing Derp Fam, but I used, obviously a lot of other people did because I found Guardians to run with, but I just joined like the PS4 Reddit group on Bungie.net and the Xbox One and PS4 Raiders, and I would just that would show up in my group feed just like Destiny Reset, the Dirt Fam does. Yeah, and I would just, I mean, people are posting on there all the time. Of course, now like we've herd with the Derp fam, we're fortunate enough for it to be a lot easier to find other Guardians to run with. But, I mean, it's cool to have this stuff all built in. Slowly but surely, they keep adding more and more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just building it all in.
Which is great. They're kind of looking at what the community needs, and, you know, they're making the app better and better, which I think is great. You know, the little companion app, giving it a lot more value.
I want to know what you think, moving right along, Cyborg. You were pretty hyped up on Challenge of Elders last week. We got the high scores this week.
Dude,
what'd you think?
Here's the thing. When I first got my best high score that week, I was like, man, this is great. And then I thought for a few minutes, I was like, if I was able to get that high score, I'm wondering what the good players are going to get. I was like, surely this is not going to be competitive. And I was right, because the high score this week is 181,865. Wow.
I want to see this streamed, man. I want to see.
I would like to see like a YouTube of that, just to watch and see what they're doing. I mean, it's ridiculous. None of the defenders from last week up here though. So we got some newcomers, it looks like.
Yeah, and they've got a big gap from 181, and then the next is second place 154, yeah, and then third's 152.
So they were doing something awesome.
Crazy.
I'd like to like these guys. I mean, I'll have to Google some of these guys, maybe see if they have anything up. You can check it out. But yeah, they were killing it, man.
It goes right along with. I mean, on a even smaller level, they've got you competing within your fire team. But then to post this every week, like, it's just cool to see. What people figure out. It's just crazy.
No doubt.
Good stuff.
So, I think that's all the news we got this week.
Think so, sir. We got exciting recurring guest gentleman that's come back to join us here.
We do. We have Mr. Woodhouse on to join us this week. So why don't we jump in to our conversation with him? All right, listeners, as promised, we are here again with Mr. Woodhouse, and he's on for what he calls the hat trick. Welcome, Mr. Woodhouse.
Hey, guys.
Welcome. How's it going?
It's going really well. How about yourself?
Hey, we're making
it. Glad to have you back on.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Yeah, so for the listeners who haven't listened to the previous 2 episodes you've been on, tell us real quickly about yourself, Mr. Woodhouse, and let these guys know who you are, and what you're about.
Well, I'm a member of the veritable Reddit Cabal mod army, moderating Destiny the game, gaming, The Division, PlayArc, Fallout, and of course Fluffy Dogs.
Oh, that's my favorite. So what's a day in the life of a powerful Reddit moderator like yourself?
Oh, you know, the usual insults about my mother, being associated with defunct German political parties, and of course, you know, multiple people questioning my sexuality because I removed a repost.
But that's fair, right?
Oh, of course, it's a completely reasonable reaction.
Yeah, all in due course. So, Mr. Woodhouse is we first came to know, at least myself and Arrow, came to know Mr. Woodhouse as a moderator over at the Reddit r/Destiny the game subreddit, which we're kind of a product of in a sense. So
again, where we met, right?
Where we met. So we only thought it was fitting to bring one of those guys over every once in a while and talk about our favorite games. So here he is.
By one of those guys, we mean just Mr. Woodhouse.
By just this one guy.
Yes.
Which any of the other mods are welcome if they want to come with you, but you know,
I think they're a little intimidated.
Well, they shouldn't be.
Well, the 3 of us, you know, just flow so nicely together on the podcast. I guess we could see why.
Yeah. It does work very nicely.
Yeah, so this week, guys, we're going to comb through some listener mail. We're going to go through some tweets that you guys have sent. We've got a speak pipe from our from our favorite friend Manny, aka Manny G. And then to start it off, though, I found a interesting little conversation I thought we could chat about for a moment here. So cruising through the DTG subreddit, looking at people's comments, and I see one in particular that a user put up. This user was JD80K. So look, we're getting better about giving credit where it's due on Reddit. We always just say this guy on Reddit put up a thread, but JD80K, if you're listening, I'm giving you credit. So he put up a thread, said, Derek Carroll, to people who are weary of service skill-based matchmaking and Sweatfest Crucible matches, try strikes. So he cites a Twitter conversation, and a user was tweeting Derek at Mantis on Twitter. And the user was Tommy at I'm Your Aries. And he said, yo, I'm tired of this hyper competitive play in Crucible. Like literally everyone is sweating 24/7. How can I relax and play Crucible? Derek's reply, try strikes.
Yeah.
First off, what do you guys think of that?
I mean, just seeing it without any context does come off as a tad snarky, which I kind of appreciate because I'm a big fan of the snark. Fair enough. I use it quite a bit myself. Definitely appreciate seeing a masterpiece of snark like that. But then, seeing the context when Derek came into the Reddit thread and explaining, what he meant by those two words, I really understood what he was saying. And he came in and he basically said, hey, you're asking how to relax while you're playing Crucible, but that's not what the Crucible is for. The Crucible is for being competitive and giving your all and getting locked in. And if you want to relax, then that's not the place for you. And I completely understand that. I don't find the Crucible relaxing at all, even when it's Sparrow Racing League. But I do find strikes relaxing. It's methodical. It's, you really get to try some new stuff, and halfway through trying new stuff, you don't get sniped by triple wreck. And it, you get to appreciate the backgrounds and the wonderful artistry that the Bungie people have put together. But in the Crucible, it's just you have tunnel vision for the next kill or running away, and it's just chaos. And there's nothing relaxing about it, and I don't think there ever will be anything relaxing about it.
Well, see, we man, what, 2 or 3 episodes ago, we kind of jumped a head start and started acknowledging that it felt like skill-based matchmaking was making a huge comeback. And it's such a fine line. Well, at least for me, my main point with it is always, if it brings in more lag, then I need to see less of it. But, if the games aren't laggy and it's not bringing in latency with the peer-to-peer, I agree. Like it should be close opponents, to your skill level. With that comes the sweatiness, but it is definitely there. I can't hardly play a skirmish game without it being super sweaty. And just this week I tweeted out, there's no freelance playlists up right now. So I'm going into skirmish kind of like somebody had mentioned, I think in response to him saying try strikes, they said, what if I am in the top 1% and my friends aren't? So it's such a fine line. But I agree with you, Woodhouse. Like, the Crucible is a place where, ideally you want to play someone that is close to or equal to your skill level. Otherwise, you don't just want to stomp people 24/7. I get people want a relaxing Crucible. I do too sometimes. But that's where I feel like I should be able to jump in freelance whenever I want. And right now I can't jump in a freelance. And I know, some skill-based may still be there, but at least it won't be me against a fire team of 3 with 2 randos, I don't know. It is definitely a hot topic right now, and I appreciate the snarkiness like you do, but he knows how passionate this community is. And he follows up with some tweets and kind of brings it back in. But I mean, that he knew when he tweeted that it was going to set it off. He had to have.
Well, let me go ahead and read his comment in the Reddit thread, because I feel like there's some value there, and we can give a whole picture and give him the fairness of everything he had to say there, right? So Mantis_Prime, that's his Reddit handle, and he said in reply, I was simply replying to the "how can I relax and play Crucible" question, which my answer is relaxation isn't one of the primary goals of the Crucible. Perhaps I was being too snarky, but hey, we all have our days. Destiny matchmaking doesn't favor skill over connection. In a nutshell, we attempt to find the best connections within a skill range, and if we can't find a good match, we expand the skill range and try again. If it's taking you minutes to find a match, it's not because we're waiting to find you the perfect skill match, it's because we're having trouble finding you a good connection. We give up on skill almost immediately, because it's less important than having low latency. We aren't skill obsessed, but I do believe that the best matches are where both teams are evenly matched and have low latency connections. Are you with me on that, at least? No one is saying Destiny's matchmaking is perfect, but I'd love to be able to improve it with your help instead of just hearing that skill-based matchmaking is the devil.
It all goes back to constructive feedback. I mean,
Sure.
he calls a couple people out in the Twitter feed, and one guy, he said something pretty negatively about skill-based matchmaking, and Mantis comes right back and it's like, that comment doesn't help anything. Like, he pulls it full circle with that. I mean, we all can agree, like you said, Woodhouse, strikes and even Challenge of Elders, like that's where you go in, just chat with your friends, jump around, shoot aliens, basically. But I don't know. I mean, if we can get rid of, and it's actually been a little less over the last week or two, but that when we came off that Iron Banner, I mean, the lag was what was really getting to me. And I agree, if low latency is more important and we see that reflected, then I mean, we want to have challenging Crucible matches, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can agree with that. This is like obviously a tough thing to balance. Otherwise they would have had it figured out already, right?
Exactly.
Can you imagine what's going on in the back end?
I mean, well, and something that I do know is that they look really hard at data. Mm-hmm. Some people might argue that Bungie doesn't truly operate that way, and I don't know if I agree with it, because every time that we see Crucible changes, they bring out data for us. Here's the data set. Here's what's going on. Hopefully they have some kind of data that they can draw conclusions on to determine what the majority of players, what type of matches that they're getting into, and what kind of win ratios they have, and how many people are leaving games. There's a lot of things that probably affect what a perfect multiplayer match is like. I don't think that a perfect multiplayer match is the same for everyone either. I think that's part of the issue here.
Right.
So there's a lot of sides to this, and I think that people just need to get out there and tell Bungie what they specifically would like to see happen, because it seems to me like they've been just continually working on this for months and months, just trying to dial it to the right setting.
Well, I think it's felt like over the last month or so, everybody kind of feels like another tweak was made that we didn't hear about. And, that can go on forever. I mean, we don't, but, I'm sitting here talking to you guys, like maybe, I mean, the way skill-based matchmaking should work is I'm thinking to myself, if I'm not a big into PvP, I don't play it a lot, I don't consider myself very, very good at it, and I just want to jump in and have fun. I mean, you can't really do that, I guess, because skill-based is going to find you somebody that is at that level anyways. So it's still going to be the same as if one of us match made into something. So do you think, my question is, do you think we need like a ranked that uses skill-based and then a non-ranked Crucible? I mean, set aside how crazy the director would look, because it's already got stuff everywhere. But, I mean, do you think it would benefit for all the Guardians out there that do want to play PvP but they don't want to sweat all the time?
I think that maybe it would be better if they kept everything the way it is now, but then added some sort of casual mixed bag playlist where it changes up the game mode every now and then, very similar to some of the stuff that you've seen in Halo and Call of Duty over the past few years. Right. With that kind of, hey, we're just going to come in here and have fun and it's going to be insane, but you're not going to get points.
We need a big team battle too.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
It can't get too skill based with 16 to 20 guardians on the map.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun, and I hope that that's something we're going to get to see in Destiny too. But one of the things that I think would really help out, especially with what Derek is getting at with the, hey, you need to help us to figure out what you want, is they need to borrow something that Overwatch has. At the end of every Overwatch match, you get to rank your match and say, hey, it was a negative match, hey, it was a neutral match, or hey, it was a positive match. And I think that if we had that system in Destiny, and they could have that extra piece of data where somebody is giving them feedback about what they felt about that match, and then they can use that to look at the stats and, was it a close match? Did this person like that they steamrolled somebody? Even if they got blown out, did they respect that, hey, that was a fun match, even though we lost by a ton? Stuff like that. I think that they'd be able to draw some interesting conclusions from that data and not have to talk to us so much about, hey, what do you like and dislike about skill-based versus connection-based matchmaking? Because then you don't run into the feedback is drowned out by all these people saying, as Derek said, skill-based matchmaking is the devil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree. That's good.
That would be a cool feature. So, well, we just want to throw out some additional 2 cents on this week. We don't have to beat it with a dead horse. Everybody's talking about it. Obviously, it's been brought to Bungie's attention that not everybody's happy right now, but just a couple extra little things to think about there. But listeners, if you have feedback on service-based matchmaking, feel free to send us an email or a tweet. Maybe we can continue that conversation in a constructive way.
I think it's very telling that the only comments I had in that entire post were jokes completely unrelated to the topic. That just shows how infrequently I play Crucible and how, everything is sweaty to me, because maybe the only person I know who's even close to my skill level is Deej.
I knew you were going there with that. That's classic.
Nice. I think you just got called out, Deej.
Well, I've played with him before, and we were pretty comparable.
Nice.
That's great. That's great. Well, like we said, we've got some emails in the backlog that we've been saving to bring out on a few episodes. So some questions you guys had that you sent us over the last month or two. So we're going to lead off here with Barry. I believe Barry was our geography lesson last week.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think so.
Hi, Barry.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Hello, Barry. Thank you so much for being so active on our Facebook page. He's got to be the most active derp Facebooker.
He's all over it.
All right, so here's his email here real quick. He says, do you think that Destiny is the kind of game that people will play intensively, stop, come back, play intensively, stop, come back, etc.? As you might be aware, I have returned from a 6-month hiatus, and I'm loving the game again. The increased light level cap, April update, upgraded PoE, and generous loot drops have allowed me to jump back into the game with a happy heart. One thing in particular that I grew weary of was the difficulty in getting above the light level 295 by playing solo. I think that there are lots of paths to max level now, and I'm sitting at 315 after 3 weeks in. Thanks for all the great dialogue. You really add a lot of fun to helping me with more fully enjoying my Destiny experience. Bays P Master, Barry from the Facebook group, Sir B Leslie on PSN. So go for it. Woodhouse, what do you think, man?
I'm absolutely with you, Barry. I take a hiatus from Destiny every now and then. During year one, I took a hiatus from the middle of October until, we went after Crota. And then I took another hiatus in March and April. And I just finished a short hiatus from Destiny now, too. I kind of hit the wall, same as you. I had gotten my highest character to about 290, and I wasn't really feeling going in for finding somebody on fire teams or Destiny LFG and trying to figure out the raid and whatnot. So I kind of hit that wall. I was like, hey, I've gotten all of my gunsmith exotics. I've done a lot of these secret exotic things. I've pretty much done what I can solo, and maybe I'll come back for the raid in a couple weeks. Maybe I won't. And it was fine. I played some other things, and then the April update came out. I came back, very pleased with how that's gone. And now I'm going and upgrading some of my guys on Xbox One. I've been playing mostly on PS4, which was the second console that I started playing Destiny on. I originally was on the Xbox One in February of last year, went to the PS4. And so now I'm getting to re-experience the Taken King content with all this special April stuff, and it's great. Nice. I liken it a lot to World of Warcraft, that, with World of Warcraft and the way that the expansions work, you can take a hiatus and then new expansion or a new major content patch comes out and you can just absolutely dive in and play it, as you say, intensively. And then you stop and then you come back again when there's more content again, and you just consume the content, and it gives you the opportunity to play other games and still be a huge fan of the franchise and the IP and the world and be connected to your characters.
Definitely, man. Definitely. What about you, Cyborg?
Well, I'm kind of more of a steady Eddie guy, but I will say, I've never taken any kind of hiatus, but I've had some short periods where I played less, but I usually was only, maybe I was playing something else if it was something else that came out I really wanted to play, like Fallout or this or that. But I haven't taken any real hiatus, but it sounds to me like, I'm not the typical player, because I know several people on my friends list, many actually, that do the same thing. They play when the new content drops. They kind of play it until they felt like they've gotten their fill, and then I'll see them when the next content drops. Nice. And that's several of my friends that I would regularly play with when we have expansions and stuff. And so, like Woodhouse is saying, play until you kind of beat the dead horse, and then you're gone. Go play something else for a while, and then come back when something new comes out. I mean, I think that they understand. I think that Bungie kind of expects that to an extent. Not every player is the same, where every player is going to want to log in every single day and play. I think we're kind of the outlier in that way, and we're kind of the core player base that's still there. But there's obviously millions of players that just come when there's something new.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think they've said it themselves that they want you to take healthy steps away from the game. They don't want you to leave frustrated or anything. But
right.
For me, I'm the same as you, Cyborg. I really haven't taken very long of a break ever from this game since the alpha. But Destiny, actually, just recently, right now, my hiatus from Destiny is when I start to balance another game with it. I still play it, but I try to fit in another game. Like right now, I just this weekend popped Fallout back in finally.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm trying to just play a little bit of that on the side. I did it a little bit with the division, but for me, I mean, I'm playing it every week, and I think it's the way it's structured for me. It's in my life right now with the schedule that I have, being able to hop on, play a couple Crucible matches or a quick Trials passage or just a Challenge of Elders. You know, it's just like you play. There is an activity that you can do in the amount of time that you have to be able to play. And sometimes I'll boot up my PS4 and I'm like, do I want to play Division or Fallout or I'll just jump on Destiny, do a couple things and go to bed.
Right.
It just works.
And I think another motivator for or even a difference between, say, the type of player that Barry is and the type of player that I am. One of the things that keeps me coming back, even though a lot of the content is fairly stale, is the community and the social aspect to it. So I know that any night of the week, if I get on, there's a number of players that I know that are going to be around that I can play with, because we all just kind of follow the same habits. We, around the same times we get on, or, when I get on, that player has played other stuff and now they're ready to play Destiny. If I didn't have that, I probably would log in a lot less. Very similar to like Barry does. And Barry kind of relates that, well, I got as far as I could by myself. And if I was only playing by myself, I think I would probably get bored pretty fast. But the ability to play with regular friends or make new friends on a regular basis and experience things, that experience makes it fun as compared to just okay for me.
Well, how many emails have we gotten that specifically says that I wasn't playing a lot and then I joined the Derp fam, and having all those guardians to basically what you just said, to experience it with, just kind of pulls you back in and gets you playing every night.
And not to say that that's the right way to play. It's just, I think, something that makes the difference. Because I think because there's sometimes when I'm kind of burnt out at the end of the day or the week, and I don't want to talk to people.
Right.
I'm like, I'm done. Out. That's when I go pop in another game, appear offline, and you don't see me all weekend, because that happens too. So I'll take like a weekend hiatus because, well, the social aspect is there, but I've had enough social for 1 week. I just want to like chillax, and I'll do that too. So there's lots of different scenarios where it's not always going to be the same motivator for you to play. So
I will say, on a kind of a tangent, I just had that moment again this week, and I tweeted it out, that smart loot and 1-to-1 infusion is by far the best thing in the game right now.
Yeah, the 1-to-1 infusion is just out of this world.
Yes.
That was one of my major pain points, especially with exotics, because I'm like, wait, I'm spending an exotic shard to do this, and you're only going to give me 60%?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the progression in the game feels so great right now, and you have so many options whether you're playing with people or not. So even like Barry soloing, he said he's gotten to 315 after 3 weeks. Like, it just feel the pace right now. I hope that the smart loot and having multiple activities and the 1-to-1 infusion, I hope they realize like they hit it spot on right now.
Yeah.
As a PvP player, mostly, I'm sitting at 331 light right now, and I couldn't be happier that I actually am chasing max light level by playing mostly PvP.
No kidding,
and the pace is so great. Like, it's so nice. Anyways, that's just part of it to me, is the quality of life stuff there.
Yeah. Well, we've got another email, a little bit longer one, from open_E. And he replied to a comment that I made. Goodness, how old is this email? This had to be like a month or two again, right?
Ago, yeah.
And it was the episode when we had Mr. M. Tashed on. And I made a comment that my personal opinion was that damage over time doesn't belong in the game. And that I felt that it was a design flaw, and I hoped that they would remove it in future iterations. So our friend here had a response to that comment, so I'll go ahead and read it. He says, "Hey guys, was just listening to the podcast and something stuck out to me. You guys were talking about Firebolts and Thorn and how the damage over time effects were pretty much kind of OP. I have to disagree. I've been playing Destiny since beta and can't say that either Thorn or Firebolts have been a blip on my rage radar. LOL. Generally, I don't analyze games to find holes. I just roll with whatever is going on, learn and adapt, generally over the course of many, many deaths. I've been playing since beta, and the only thing I've ever thought to complain about was Blade Dancer. Even then, I didn't. As soon as I heard that zip pop, screw the control point, forget trying to get that kill, I ran, period. Blade Dancers can't do anything if you're always on the move away from them, and it also pulls them to where you want them to go if they're focusing on you. As soon as that super ends, I usually had them in a spot where 2 or 3 teammates were waiting to blast them with shotguns or something. It's the same thing with Thorn and Firebolt, but nowhere near as intense as Blade Dancer used to be. In all honesty, I never can say I even thought to call out Thorn or Firebolts. Yeah, they are strong, but super easy to counter if you stay on your game. Thorn, just shoot them. As soon as you got hit with Thorn, you need to come up with a game plan. Where is he? What do I need to do? Where's the rock for cover? LOL. Firebolts, take cover and wait it out. What you're going to do if you're not killed from any other grenade. Depending on your teammates, especially if you're the only one hit. If you got hit by a Firebolt because you were the one leading the push, switch out, let someone else take the point. If your whole team got hit with a Firebolt, facepalm, that shouldn't have happened. You guys deserve it. Wait it out. In the end, unless they perk into an extra grenade, Firebolt isn't really that strong. It's nice, and even if they do, that's basically 2 minutes until they can two-shot and have to hit them with both. But no more so than the Doctrine. Grenades don't come back fast enough for it to make enough of a difference to unbalance the game. I don't know, that's just me. Then again, I was fine with Destiny from day one. Yes, that includes the engrams. Anyways, sorry for the rant and thanks for the podcast. Sincerely, Random Guardian, PSN, open underscore E. So,
go for it, Cyborg. It's kind of in response.
Oh, man. Okay, long email. So, let me kind of get straight to some of these points. I think that ultimately our differences of opinion don't lie in whether something is or is not OP or shouldn't or should belong in the game. I think OpenE's viewpoint is just, hey, look, just roll with the punches, which understand that's what I've done for quite a while, and that's what I'm okay with. I try to hold the salt on this stuff, and I've even made it a point to use some of these tools like Thorn and like Firebolt in my gameplay, so I can't sit there and constantly criticize them when I've used them and sometimes still do use them. And I've lived with them. I've learned how to counter them. I've learned how to play against them. I think that what I want other players and for OpenE as well to understand is that my comment was that from a design perspective, they introduced a concept. They introduced a mechanic, which is damage over time, that is hard to balance in the Crucible. I think in PvE it's fine, because in PvE you're just looking for advantages. But in Crucible, you have to have things that can be countered. You have to have things that have a counter to a counter in order to create fun and interesting gameplay. And damage over time is one of those things that I think that a lot of players have been very they find it tough. They find it tough to counter, and I think that there should be a counter to each obstacle that you run across in the Crucible. And if they can't come up with a way for there to be counters to those, sans literally waiting behind a rock, which I think is a poor experience in a PvP game, then they should eliminate them. Because, hey, it was fun, but it wasn't well thought out. That's my opinion.
Yeah, see, I think the main thing is how long things like these take you out of the fight. Kind of what you touched on there.
Mm-hmm.
If you get hit with Firebolt you're out of the fight for a bit right now. And by a bit, I mean many seconds.
Yeah, basically, if it doesn't kill you, you're out of the fight basically as long as if it had killed you.
Yes. Yep. Well, and it's funny, the other side of that, let's say you had full health, okay? Okay, now you don't have full health. And just actually earlier this evening, I was playing some trials with Terry and Unique, and Terry made this amazing push. It was 1v3. He made this amazing push to get back to the center of Bannerfall, and he had gotten tagged with a firebolt right when he started his little juke. He got a kill. He was right where he needed to be to play the other two Guardians, and he was going to use the pillars and he could pull it off with a shotgun if anybody could. And he died by a firebolt that tagged him about 7 seconds before that. Oh. So my thing is if nothing else, and I can't remember if I heard this somewhere or just came up on the podcast or when, these things to me shouldn't, if there's going to be damage over time, roll with the punches. I love that attitude. I definitely agree with you, Cyborg. It's all about having a counter to everything. That's what it's all about. But I don't think that things should be able to kill you. If anything, stop the damage before you die. That would change it quite a bit if you couldn't burn completely to death from this damage over time stuff. It's still powerful, but don't let it kill me. If I'm about to make this amazing push and I got hit with a grenade 7 seconds before that, Right. If it's going to stay in the game, don't let it kill me.
Yeah. Here's a great example of how broken the concept of damage over time is. I'm playing Trials, and it's me versus another Guardian. We get up close. I tag him with a firebolt. This is he's already below full health. So, given enough time, the firebolt was going to kill him. I tried to keep my distance and tag him with body shots, but he closed the distance and he killed me first. Now, if we had waited long enough, he would die too and it would have been a draw, okay? But he was able to go to one of his teammates, grab the res, get the overshield, and live.
That's a legit strat.
It is a legit strategy. So, But this is a situation where that is literally the only counter.
Mm-hmm.
And
should that be the only, right?
Because that's the only counter, like he was able to use that to his advantage to win that match, where that counter is so sparsely available. Like it's only if you're playing skirmish or elimination. It's only worked in that particular situation. To me, it almost shouldn't have existed because it was such like a gambit, like a trump card that you could play, that like out of all the things, like this is the only counter to that. And it enraged me so much that he was able to do that, because I should have won that encounter because I thought ahead. I had my grenade. I placed it where it needed to be. It should have been a draw, but he had the only gambit to that. So either make multiple counters to the damage over time, or just don't have something like it at all where you can do things that are that broken,
Well, Terry linked me a video earlier today from Sir Demetrius talking about how much the gameplay pace in Destiny has slowed, just the kill time and everything, since it launched. And this is part of it. I mean, this slows the game down, but the game's already slowed down even without Firebolts or Thorn included. Even the Titan Sunbreaker melee that'll burn you to death. It's just there. Imagine if you could pick a ability as a class to drop like something to the equivalent of a smoke bomb on you that would stop any damage you're taking. Like there would be a crazy magical counter.
No kidding.
But do you do that, or do you just take damage over time out of the game? I don't know. Woodhouse, you haven't had too much opportunity to talk here, man. What do you think?
It's without having a real damage over time focused subclass for each of the classes, it kind of feels like damage over time is an exclusive club. And that's
very true.
That it's not getting enough focus. And one of the things, one of the things that OpenE mentioned is, if he's got the spec for 2 grenades and he throws the 2 grenades, he's waiting a long time before he can do that 2-shot again. Yeah, except that he's a Sunsinger. And so he's just going to pop his super and rain fire on you. Mm-hmm. And, he has a lot of options for trying to get some of that energy back, whether it be, hey, I'm going to pop my super and I'm going to go nuts, or, I've got, some great,
you get a perk like melee gives you more grenade energy.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever that is, Serpent's Tail or, momentum transfer. I forget which one it is for Warlocks. But he can get those grenades back faster than you think. And so it really is a huge advantage, especially being able to just throw it around a corner and just zap a guy. And you're like, all right, I know where that guy is, and I'm just going to follow the damage numbers. Yep. And it definitely feels like there either needs to be a good counter for it so that it's not a, hey, you're done. Either you're dead or you have to sit this one out. But maybe it's not just taking it away.
Right. I just take a couple things of damage, but still let it track you for the enemy a little longer, right? So it doesn't take you out of the fight as long, but your enemy can still track you. That's part of the benefit. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing that really needs to what makes it so OP is that they can take you out of the fight even if they don't kill you. And so if they can fix that, I think that they're going to fix a lot of what makes damage over time such an overpowered effect. The change to Thorn definitely helps because, that Mark of the Devourer tick isn't going to be, killing you unless they've landed some good shots and you were on your last breath anyway. That's just going to be the thing that edges you out. But with the firebolt grenades, it's just, it's a pretty tough pill to swallow.
Is right now when you're running trials and we inspect the other team, if they have 2 or 3 Sunsingers, we instantly turn our mental preparing up a notch, or 3 or 5 before we even go into the match, because we try to basically just shut them down so they can't even think about self-resing and having all those firebolts.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a fun conversation. Just to be clear, I can't remember what you main Woodhouse, but Cyborg, for any of you that don't know, used to have 3 warlocks. So he is coming with all of these opinions as a warlock.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
And I used to main a warlock for a while, and it was a Sunsinger. But now I main a Sunbreaker Titan.
Nice. Well, thanks for your email, OpenE. We appreciate your feedback. Was positive, and your attitude is great. It's how you not be a scrub, which is, look, this is the way the game is. We're just going to figure out how to roll with it and work against these hard to counter things. And that's how you get better. And that's how you stay enjoying the game. And that's ultimately,
how you hold the salt.
Yeah, that's ultimately the attitude I want to have when I'm playing. But unfortunately, I have this great forum where I can come on and actually, not hold the salt for a little while sometimes.
So. Yeah, I'm glad we could finally get his email on, because I didn't want him to think we were just holding that one for just the right episode.
Yeah, OpenE definitely takes the salt and rims those margaritas.
Oh man, nice. So we've got a speak pipe from our old buddy, aka Manny G, one of our community administrators. Let's take a listen to that, and he's got a great idea here.
What's up, guys? This is Manny. Hey, I got a little speak pipe in response to BitDead's stolen idea. And what if, instead of having a game mode where you kill a Guardian and take their gun so people can try out different guns, why don't we change up the gunsmith a little bit? Why don't we make those test weapons actual exotic weapons from the game, or even popular legendaries, and use those instead of these horrible, terrible test weapons that nobody likes. That's my idea. What do you guys think?
All right, Manny, building off of BitDad's idea. That's great, man.
Yeah.
I got to say, Cyborg and I were talking before the show. I just have to mention this, Cyborg. Manny has like the most amazing podcast / radio voice.
Seriously, man.
Every time.
He needs to be on like a late night
something
radio show, like Delilah.
Yes.
And but it's
that's
Manny.
Brilliant. Just Manny. That's all you need. Manny G.
Manny G.
That's good.
Late nights
So anyways,
with Manny G.
I love it, man. I think he'll probably email us before too long and say he's switching his career. So anyways, great idea. I hardly ever do the test weapons anymore. Just because it's kind of painful and my gunsmith's ranked up a bit. I actually am only rank 1 on Xbox. So I got to say, on my Xbox character, if they were exotics and popular legendaries, I love this idea. I would be at the gunsmith picking them up, testing them every time. I think this is a cool idea to just kind of give you a taste of what some of the guns feel like. But then they almost have to, once you complete the bounty, it just locks. You can't use it anymore.
Either that or it needs to be time gated.
Yeah, I was going to say,
and
give it
they
like
definitely have that because they have the expiration times on some of these event items. So if they applied that same code to these exotic or legendary gunsmith items, I think that you would have a really interesting system that people would continue to play around with even after they've gotten the gunsmith rank so high that they don't need the reputation. I think it'd be a really great way to try and introduce some guns that maybe they haven't balanced yet.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
That'd be like, hey, check out this perk, and we're just gonna be like, oh, it's a hand cannon that shoots wolf pack rounds and just go nuts, but you can't use it in the Crucible.
Right.
Yeah, that's true, man. Like, I just sitting here talking about it, I can see people just going to the gunsmith lining up as soon as he gets the new weapons.
That'd be pretty cool, man. I think Manny is onto something here. I hope Bungie picks this one up. This would be a fun idea.
Hopefully one person, with the help of Woodhouse, one employee of Bungie listens to our show.
Let's see. Who do I know at Bungie? I know an audio guy. I play with him every now and then.
There you go.
I don't really know anyone else at Bungie.
I know you know Cosmo.
Come on.
Yeah, I'll see if Cosmo's receptive to that.
Yeah. Well,
great stuff.
We got some tweets as well that we asked for, some questions for us and Mr. Woodhouse. So let's jump into these.
Dirt fan fired back quick.
Yes.
Love it.
Ted Milky at @Ed_milk. He says, do you think we will see SRL come back before September?
God, I hope so.
Me too.
I really enjoyed Sparrow Racing League. That was a lot of fun.
Plus the gear was cool, right?
Yeah, the gear was cool. Like, and
I want to use the gear I earned again.
Yeah, my characters look dope in that gear.
I know.
Well, in the helm, like I have the helm to go with my new Spectar gear, and the helm had like the Angel of Mercy perk on it, for trials. So I love it.
It was actually useful.
Yeah, I think it'll come back. Maybe not before September. Well, maybe. We'll see. I mean, that is quite a long time to go without any sort of content bring back. They did announce Sparrow Racing League at a big at a big event.
Say this. Last time they introduced it at a big event, I hope that
I think maybe E3 we could see, hey, next week SRL, get ready.
That would be so hype, man.
Mainly because I want to see more Deej drunk pretending he's in Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
And anytime Cosmo complains about getting hit, he said, he didn't hit you, he didn't bump you, he rubbed you. And rubbing is racing, son.
That's funny. If it wasn't for the weekly reset on Tuesday, which we all love, it would be cool if they just said it's live right now. But at least, like you said, the very next Tuesday after E3, it'd be cool if it just went live.
That'd be nuts.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we can all unanimously agree. Yes, we would love to see that before September.
Yes, we also got another one from Noob Killer. And he says, what are your favorite Trials maps ranked best to worst? So I guess we can just pick our favorite and our worst if you want, guys.
So that would actually be the exact same one because I've only played Trials once.
There you go. Nice.
And I was so just absolutely terrible at it, even though I was playing with Doc Red and Clarky, who have, they've gone to the lighthouse, I'm pretty sure a few times, and they're quite skilled at PvP, and they tried to carry me, and I am just so bad at PvP that I cannot be carried. And I'm trying to remember where it was.
I'm going to guess Rusted Lands.
It was not Rusted Lands. It was Burning Shrine.
Burning Shrine.
Oh, Burning Shrine. Yes.
Had to be.
Yep.
Because it's been the most,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, see, for me, I think I'm going to pick two favorites, even though I said one of each.
Okay.
Burning Shrine and Thieves' Den, Cyborg. God. I can't believe I would ever say that. I would, if I went back, I wouldn't think that would ever be one of my favorites, but it's so fun, especially with no land on that map. So those two faves, my least favorite has to be, as of right now, Timekeeper that we just had a couple weekends ago. That was rough.
All right. So I'm going to have to give you, best Widow's Court, right in the middle. I'm gonna put Pantheon. I gotta give Pantheon some love. It was my first flawless map. Have some good memories there. And then worst, you guessed it, Thieves' Den.
Nice.
All right, we also had a tweet from my good buddy Cody Bernstein at Cody Carl Digits.
Cody!
He's my favorite troll. With the terms update and expansion both being used by official Bungie channels to describe the upcoming fall content release, do you think there's any chance that this could just be a live team event? Or do you think that Bungie needs to have a Taken size expansion to the game?
You see, Cody, you completely screwed with my head on this one because I wasn't even thinking that it could be a live team event until you put the idea in my head. That I was thinking to myself, it has to be a full expansion or else people are going to go nuts. And then I remembered that people planning to go nuts is not exactly something that stops Bungie from doing something.
It's true.
Nope.
And so now I'm worried. But no, it has to be a full expansion. That it's too long to go between full expansions with just live team events. I don't think it'll be as big as the Taken King, but I think it'll be close.
I feel like in the coming years they're going to get spot on like they have with Iron Banner. Like if they had quarterly things like SRL and then a monthly Iron Banner and then we get trials every weekend, these updates wouldn't have to be as substantial. But I agree with you. I mean, the fall one at this point in the game, the fall one almost needs to be a Taken King sized expansion.
Well, PvE needs to get a lot of love if you're going to be able to run with regularly scheduled events between major title size content drops.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, by that point, it will have been nigh on a full year since a new in-game activity has been released, since
net new
an actual story has been released. Anything substantial that pushes the game forward, it will have been a year. I think I would just be floored if we didn't see a significant size expansion. I don't know.
Agreed.
Yep. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm going to be positive. Stop messing with our heads, Cody.
All right, next up, we've got Joseph, JH Sweeps. We talked to him quite a bit on Twitter. He says, what is your favorite piece of content?
Hands down, Vault of Glass.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's just,
Very nice.
It's so... They took the very classic raid feel that you get from MMOs. Like, it just feels epic. And, you know, when they said the Vault of Glass and I saw some of those teaser pictures and then I got in there, I was like, holy shit. This really is a vault. Like, I feel like I am in this massive cavern that is unending. And that if I fell off, I would go all the way to the other side of Venus and hit the crust of the ground. And, you know, the art design and all the secrets and whatnot, that it just felt so complete. And after playing that and then going and playing Crota's End just kind of felt like, you know, dressed up Strike. It didn't have that epic raid feel to me. So, you know, Vault of Glass is the prototype for me.
Well, Vault of Glass
incredible.
just had all that mystery to it as well.
Yeah.
Just searching through it. And I don't know. I got to say, Vault of Glass PvE side would definitely have to be the same for me. The piece of content, if we're talking both sides of the fence, Trials by far is unbelievable game mode in the game. It's so nice. But that's enough said there. Go ahead, Cyborg.
I'm kind of on the fence about this because I do love the Vault of Glass, but I think after everything that has been played, I think the most epic piece of content to me has been the King's Fall raid.
Nice.
Because the Taken King storyline is pretty epic, and if you read a lot of the lore behind it, what you do in the King's Fall raid is just quite frankly incredible in the scope of the total lore of the game. And so going through that, and I think the most just incredible moment I've ever had in Destiny was the first time I did Portico. Like, going through the jumping puzzle in the King's Fall raid was like just the most awe-inspiring moment I've ever had in a video game. Like, literally jumping across orbiting ships to get where you're going. Just that piece, like, artistically just blew me away the first time. I mean, now it's kind of like, well, ho hum, but it was really interesting.
Is that the first one you went into blind?
Yeah. So that feeling going into it blind and not knowing what to expect and just seeing that and experiencing that was a really really badass thing that I experienced in a game.
I think you hit on something too, is with what they do with the lore in the game. You know, even for me, Trials just simply being the elimination game style and almost like a tournament every weekend is what I love about it. But I also love how they tie in that lore, you know,
right?
And Osiris and all that, and that stuff. I hope they never stop doing that. I know it may be difficult for them to add stuff at times because they always feel like it feels like they want to intertwine the lore into everything. But man, it does make stuff really cool.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, great question, Joseph. Thanks for that one. Let us know what your favorite was. You asked us. Send us a tweet. Let us know what yours is. Jake, how do we pronounce this? Franzic?
We've heard from him before.
Yeah, I just don't know how to say your name, man. I'm sorry. At JFranzizzi_skates. Would be great to hear how you all balance Destiny life and family life. What limits/boundaries do you set? ?
For me, it's, you know, family and loved ones always come first. It's, you know, I love this game, but at the end of the day, it's just a game. That, and, you know, for a while there, I was dating a young woman who didn't play Destiny, didn't really play video games, kind of understood my passion for gaming, but not really. So I felt like I had to really make an effort to spend less time at the controller. Now I'm seeing a young woman who plays quite a bit of Destiny.
Nice. The dream.
Way more than I play. And
Does she play PvP?
She does.
Nice.
And is way better at it than I am.
That was the next question.
I'm pretty sure there's one game in my PvP game history, which is her playing, and it is just a massive spike in my overall history in terms of my KD. It's just, and now I'm worried because, you know, if Derek is getting all this skill-based matchmaking going in, I'm screwed because that's factoring into my
different crucible for you now.
Yeah,
buddy.
it's like, yeah. Thanks, Anna. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
But yeah, it really doesn't. It's not hard for me because I can always put down the controller and walk away.
What about all of your modding duties, man? How do you balance that?
I've got a great team on all of my subreddits. I never really feel like moderating has to take precedent over anything in my life.
Very nice.
You know, it definitely never takes precedent over family. It never comes into trying to take me away from my work. It doesn't even really, you know, infringe on my gaming. You know, I've got guys I can rely on, girls I can rely on, that I never feel like I absolutely 100% have to be there or else something bad is going to happen. That I can trust in my team to do what is needed when either I can't be there or for whatever reason I don't want to be there that day. And it just works, and they rely on me to pick up the slack when something similar happens for them. And, you know, between that and how incredibly good I've become at multitasking, being a moderator, it's become second nature to me that I can be doing one task and, you know, thinking about a mod reply, and I'm loading into some game, and it was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this, loading in 5 seconds, put this down, send reply, go. I've just I've optimized what I'm doing in life to make everything allow me to have more time for everything else.
That is funny you say optimize. See, because of course, as you guys know, Cyborg and I have the family life as well, and I feel like, you know, with recording the show, basically, I mean, we love talking about Destiny, so the show by no means is work, but we basically just kind of rule out one night a week that we would have probably played. But for me, you know, it's always later in the evening, you know, like you said, family, all that stuff obviously comes first, and more than ever, I mean, that's the way it should be, and I love it. But then if you get that moment, you know, you got to fit in some game time, and it's just a happy balance, you know. It's and the optimizing, I completely agree with you. You figure out like what your schedule's like. Cyborg and I have even talked about this with kind of tackling, you know, different aspects of the Derp Fam community and the different things we do, and we try to optimize our time with, okay, when can I do this, and at what point, and what little section of my day can I set aside for this, and you know, all the random stuff. You know what I mean, Cyborg?
Oh yeah. For me, it's just about creating boundaries. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I'm a gamer. If you sat me down at a console and said, "Hey, you don't have responsibilities for the next 3 days," I'd be like, "Okay, see you in 3 days." You know. And so for me, it's kind of setting boundaries for when I'll allow myself to dive in to actually playing, because, you know, I've got a family, I've got a business, I've got, you know, all the things that come with Destiny Reset, you know, that deserve attention. And So, I kind of set boundaries. I don't play video games when my son is awake. It's kind of a weird thing that I set for myself early on. I think he deserves all my attention. So I don't sit and play video games when I'm with him because I'd rather hang out with him. And I always make sure I give my wife attention every night before I go play video games. And I make sure all my little responsibilities and all the people that deserve attention get that attention first. Because once I'm playing the game, my focus is there.
That's funny. Yeah, it's all the balance, right?
Now,
man?
It becomes tougher to balance when something new is there. If it's a new game or a new expansion, sometimes things get a little imbalanced, and I'll tell my wife, okay, the expansion, it's coming out April, blah blah blah. So I just want you to know, and she'll be like, okay, all right. So she's patient, and I'll let some imbalance happen, but I keep it in moderation. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's I always say that I'm probably missing out on sleep. I think a lot of us gamers are. Like, we would probably go to bed earlier if it wasn't for video games.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we take this for granted too. I realize sometimes I very rarely get bored, because if I'm winding down and it's that time of night and there's not a lot going on, people, everybody's asleep, fam's asleep, it's like there's Destiny now, but even, being a gamer my whole life, there's a game to play.
Yep.
There's something to play.
We'll sleep when we're dead, guys.
Exactly.
Right? Good stuff.
Well, thanks for the questions, Derp fam. And I'd be interested to hear from everybody how they balance gaming,
Definitely.
Destiny life, and family and work and all the things they do. Let us know your tips and tricks and the different ways that you handle being a gamer, because let's be honest, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy.
Gamer problems.
So here's something fun we did the last time Mr. Woodhouse came on. It's something I call Things Mr. Woodhouse Say.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
And this is when I pour through his comment history on Reddit and find things that I find odd or hilarious and make him respond. So.
Oh, there are some good ones recently.
Yes. So I'm going to start out. I had a good one. Let's see. We're going to scroll through. Here's my first favorite. The comment simply reads, sensual massage.
Okay. That's one of my better zingers recently. So as some of you know, the game Ark Survival Evolved is a sandbox dinosaur survival game.
Yeah.
And there is a big new dinosaur coming out that is going to basically be a enormous brontosaurus, and we can't tame it the way that we usually tame dinosaurs in the game. And so people are trying to figure out how we're going to tame it. And so somebody said, well, how the hell are we going to tame this thing? And so I replied back with a cheeky response, sensual massage.
Oh, man.
Love it. Here's, well, I was going to read this one, but it has Game of Thrones spoilers, so I can't. I'm going to be sensitive, but I saw words like Ramsay and Small John and all these great things, but I have to be conscious of our Game of Thrones readers. Here's a good one. The live team removed him from the game in such a mysterious way. It's baffled users for years.
Oh, that's a great one. That was there was a long thread of people making jokes about basically saying that the world is a video game and Jesus was cheating. and that he figured out self-revive, so they had to kick him out of the game. But the developers have said maybe he'll come back someday. We haven't decided when. So I made a joke about the mysteries of faith and how, Jesus' ascension to heaven is a mystery of faith that many Christian theologians and worshipers study to this day.
That's great. That's a good reply. Here's a great one. Tasty murder.
Ah, yes. Somebody said that eating meat is murder. So of course I said yes, but it's tasty, tasty murder.
Out of context, these comments are hilarious. But then when you put them in context, they're no longer funny.
Yeah, I know. It's
sorry.
Just context is what kills my humor.
Okay, we'll pick one more out, and then we'll let you get back to your real life. Check for rogues that float if you throw them into the Hudson River or East River. Those are the witches. Get the cleaners to burn them.
Yes.
They are great without context, that's for sure.
So as I mentioned, I am now a moderator for the division, and we've had a rash of witch hunting over there. And so somebody said, well, how else are we going to figure out where the witches are to burn them? I said, we've got 2 rivers. Let's take the rogues who are cheating in the dark zone, throw them in the river. If they float, call the guys with the flamethrowers. They'll burn them.
Nice. That's a good Monty Python tie-in right there.
Yeah, there were a lot of Monty Python jokes in that thread.
That's awesome.
Somebody said, well, we've got lots of very small rocks because of all the rubble from explosions.
Oh, jeez.
So we can weigh the rogues against the very small rocks. They float.
Very well.
You're having too much fun, I think. With these. Good stuff.
Well, it was great to have you on again, Mr. Woodhouse. Anything you want to say to the Destiny community before we let you
go? Give Derek a break, guys. He's trying.
True that.
We appreciate you coming back on, man. The Derp fam loves to have you back on the show. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
We'll continue to have you on a more regular,
anytime.
Recurring role.
Yeah, beyond the hat trick.
Beyond the hat trick.
Nice.
Then we're just making it a habit.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, have a great night, and the Derp fam thanks you.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, man.
All right.
Okay, guys, Mr. Woodhouse back again, and I'm sure he'll be back again sometime too. That was great, man.
Of course, it's always fun having him on.
Yes. It's so nice to have a guest recurring that's straight from Destiny the Game Reddit.
No doubt. Well, this week we've got some speak pipes.
We do
for the Derp fam feels.
Continuing the smoot. Well, I guess we'll just call them speak pipes. Smooch pipe challenges. Good stuff. Smooches is everywhere now, man. Like I streamed Friday night for a little bit, and anywhere Heaven shows up, and even if he's not there, at some point there's a smooch type.
Yeah, somebody brings up a smooch. Smooches.
Good stuff.
We've got Mr. Yessie answering the challenge from last week, so let's take a listen.
Hey there, fam. It's Mr. Yessie responding to Shaggy's call out. He's in basic training right now. I just want to thank him for the call out. Wish him good luck, and when you come back, we'll have some new content to run through. I'm primarily on the PS4 now, but I started my Destiny career on the Xbox side. It's Death Magnetic. I joined during the lull because my former clan had disbanded, and I was running out of stuff to do on Xbox, so I decided to start fresh on PS4. I joined the chat and found countless Guardians willing to help out. There's too many to list. I don't want to leave anybody out. So I'm just going to thank all the players that I've played with. There's more and more each day. My PlayStation and the Xbox side. I love the Derp fan. Anyone listening to the podcast, if you're thinking about joining, join. You won't regret it. I'd like to wrap up by calling out Saved Guy. You're up.
All right, Meeser. You've followed with tradition and called out Mr. Saved Guy. Thanks for your speak pipe. We're glad that you're part of the fam.
Thank you very much. I'm wondering how long we can keep this going. This is great. Everybody's getting it in
by
the weekly deadline.
I know.
Speaking of that, we've got a little speak pipe from Fugglebug. Fugly.
Let's
see what he has to say.
Hey everybody, it's Fugly88. a.k.a. the Fugglebug, a man of many names. Thanks to all you kind folks, and not so many talents who've had the chance to play with me. Arrow, Cyborg, thank you. Thank you for sharing your passion and starting this community in this podcast. I can't tell you how much it means to me. I've been a musician since I was 16. I've been burning the candle at several ends for many, many years. The last 4 or 5 years, I was so burnt out, I was about ready to just call it quits. Meeting everyone, playing Destiny with everybody daily has given me a chance to really take a break, recharge, and reflect, and I've needed it, so thank you guys. There's too many people to name. I tried to make a list, but I just want to let you all know that if you ever had the chance to talk to me in chat, ever played, ever crashed my party, poked fun, it means the world to me. You guys, every single one of you are great people. You are so kind and so positive. BC boys, thank you for welcoming me with such open arms into your crew. I love each and every one of you. Andy Man, Archimedes, Duke, Manny G, Big Papa Los, Scorio, Wahlberg, Peterson. And yes, Dan, you, Necessary Evil. Get your butt back on Destiny, boy. All right. Oh, I almost forgot. Shout out challenge, right? Calling out you, buddy. That's right, buddy. My California love. In the city. Highway to Heaven. I challenge you for the next smooch pipe. Get it, boy.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for the kind words. We are glad you have jumped back into some things. Love that you're so into music, man. And we got a new challenge.
Yeah. Highway
to Heaven.
I love the passion he put up in his speak pipe.
Oh, yes. It was great, man. Like, it's Cyborg and I, like, it's just cool that just us talking about a game has just we've created so many friendships. I don't mean we as in you and I, Cyborg. I mean we as in we've created a friendship between the two of us. All of these Dirt fam members that have become friends, dude, out in this family. And I don't know, it's just a cool thing, dude. These speak pipes every week are just amazing.
No doubt. Let's keep them going, guys. If you got called out, gotta call in.
You've got a week or 5 or 6 days.
You're on notice.
Speaking of that, we didn't have any feels on the emails this week, man.
That's okay. Speak pipes are just as good.
Yes. But keep the emails coming, guys.
Yeah.
If you don't want to leave a speak pipe, you're more than welcome to leave a speak pipe, but the emails are great too. So.
Yeah, we got plenty of emails in response to our main topic last week, which we appreciate.
Yes.
Lots of ideas and feedback on the things we talked about. So thanks for listening.
We read them all.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, man. Well, it's a fun show this week.
Yes, it was.
As always.
Good stuff. Where can they find you, Cyborg?
You can find me at Cyborg Sasquatch on the Twitters. I'm there. I'm tweeting.
Tweeting McDonald's tweets.
Yep, tweeting the McDonald's tweets and other kind of nonsense that I might come up with. You can always find us at Destiny Reset, right, on the Twitter.
Yes, you can.
And DestinyResetPodcast.com. You can go and find links to all things Destiny Reset, including our Bungie.net group.
Yes, you can.
Where can they find you?
Things. You can find me at the Arrow Knight on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Arrow Knight. I try to stream Fridays, and I also have a little Let's Get Better Together series on YouTube.
Yeah, go check out that YouTube series he's doing. It's been pretty fun.
Check it out. Yes,
Looking forward to seeing those every week.
Finally, to review my gameplay. So, anyways, we have a few iTunes reviews that were left. We just got to give you guys a shout out and say we appreciate it. This first username is great. Your personal stalker. Thank you so much. R.H. Lurson and Dogs Life. Yes. Thank you guys very much for leaving a review. We appreciate it.
Thank you so kindly for the iTunes review.
Well, Cyborg.
Well,
this is when we say until next week, have fun playing Destiny and take care, Guardians.
Sayonara. Hello, Guardians. It's me, Manny G, and it's late night with Manny G. That's how the show's going to start.
It would have to start with what's up, guys? It's Manny.
What's up, guys? It's Manny. Late night with Manny G.